Look, $5 is not that much money, but this $5 bill right here sold for $19,200. And in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to be looking for on your rare $5 bill that makes it worth money. All right, let's kick off this video with a $5 bill from 2013. We're all familiar with this more modern bill. Now look, what if I told you this $5 bill sold for $6,600? Well, it's true. It's sold on heritage auctions, and a lot of it's going to boil down to a few things. First of all, understand this: the grade and overall condition of your $5 bill is super important. One of the main factors why this one sold for so much money is because it doesn't have a single fold on it whatsoever. A fold right down the center or a fold in the corner of the bill that hits the design is going to decrease the value of your bill. Now you'll notice that the bill is in a interesting holder. That holder is a third-party grading company called Paper Money Guarantee. Essentially, they guarantee that the grade and authenticity of your banknote is accurate. When it comes to grading paper money, 70 is the highest grade. This one did get the 70 star, which is really, really cool. From the grade of 60 to 70, you cannot have a single fold on your bill whatsoever. And to be able to get all the way up to 70, essentially that margin around the bill, it needs to be really nicely centered. So you can see that white margin is equally centered. The more centered, the better it is. That in combination with the fact that this is a star note. I'll be very brief on it, but essentially a star note just replaces a note that was damaged or was an error during the printing process. Star notes most of the time are not that rare, but they are cool, and I definitely tell people to keep an eye out for the star note. So essentially, this banknote sold for $6,600 because one, the grade and condition is really nice, and two, it is a star note. Now this next bill sold for $9,400. It is a 2009 $5 bill. This one got graded by PMG at a 67, still a very high grade for a banknote like this, but the main reason why it sold for nearly $10,000 all boils down to that serial number. Now the serial number on this banknote is a serial number 1. This is essentially the pinnacle when it comes to serial numbers. Every high-end collector out there, or even lower-end collectors, they really want to get their hands on this serial number 1 bill. The reason why some lower-end collectors can't get their hands on it is because it costs a pretty penny, almost regardless of what type of $5 bill you have. Do understand that the condition of a bill like this does matter, so do keep your bill safe. Once again, $9,400. Now, looking at this bill, you're going to tell me, hey, James, listen, this bill is fake. It's got a red seal and red serial numbers. Well, I'll tell you this. This is a 100% genuine United States legal tender note. So back in the early 1900s, you had bills like this. I mean, this was the first year of issue for the small size paper money. Before 1928, you had what was called large size bills. Now there's a few things going on with it. I'll keep it to the point. Essentially, you know what the star is, right? You see the star, that means it's a replacement note. Secondly, it's a very high grade. You can see it's a 65, and you'll also notice that the margins around the bill are not that good compared to the 70 and the 67 we had earlier. Also, this is a mule note. So a mule note is very peculiar because essentially what a mule note is when the back of the bill shouldn't have gone with the front of the bill. So when they're printing paper money, they do all of the backs first and then they do the front. So what likely happened here was they had some extra backs to $5 bills and they decided to print it on this run instead of the normally anticipated run. A lot of the time you can tell if you have a mule note if the size of the back plate position number is different than the front plate position number. So mainly what you want to look out for is a 1928B $5 bill legal tender like this one. Remember, you could technically bring this to your bank and give it to them, exchange it, put it into your bank account. You could technically spend it at your local store, but we highly advise against that due to the extreme collector value. This one sold for $10,200. Wow, we're only going up in price here, guys. $13,200 for this 1928 $5 bill. This is a normal looking green seal Federal Reserve note. Now, one key indicator to point out here is the fact that this is what we call a numeral type bill. Numeral type bills have a large number at the left area of the district seal instead of a letter. Now, please pay attention to the start of your serial number. In this case, it is the letter E. Now, E stands for Richmond, Virginia, which is the district this one was printed for. Now, it is no coincidence that E is the 5th letter in the alphabet. Let's say that that large number 5 was instead a number 1, then the start of the serial number would be an A instead of an E like here. here. Now do understand that you have districts 1 all the way to number 12, 12 being San Francisco, so you can have letters A all the way to letter L at the start of your serial number. Now I say this because if the number ever does not match the start of the serial number letter, then that is something that's going to be worth even more money. But the value mainly is just going to boil down to the fact that it's a 1928 Richmond, Virginia $5 bill that graded very highly by PMG, and it sold for $13,200. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Why do we have a bill with a blue seal and serial numbers? I don't understand. Is this another fake bill? No. This is what we call a silver certificate. So back in the day, this is a cool fact, you could actually exchange this bill to your local bank and get back silver in return. This is, like I said, what we call a silver certificate. We also have gold certificates. These are both highly valuable bills for the most part, specifically if you're able to get a star note like this person did. And you can see this one got a 63 EPQ, which is on the lower side of the uncirculated grade, mainly because of the centering. The centering is not that good on this bill, but the fact that it's a 1934 C $5 bill and it's a star note makes this $5 bill very, very rare. Another very key indicator we want to talk about is the narrow phase plates, and these plates were first introduced in August of 1948 with faceplate numbers 2028, 2029, 2030, and 2031. The example in this lot has a faceplate number of 2031. So depending on if you have a wide or a narrow, can definitely have an impact on the value of your bill. Now here we have the banknote that sold for $19,200. Like I said before, these numeral type bills are very, very rare. And you can see, let's check it guys, the large number 6 is the same as the start of the serial number. By that I mean F is the 6th letter in the alphabet, so that is all good there. But look at that serial number. It is a serial number 1 on an already rare numeral type bill, and that is why this $5 bill sold for $19,200. We do hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, and we will see you guys in the next one.